Welcome to Oops, I Did It Again, an in-course corrections for improved outcomes. This video presentation centers on a hypothetical scenario mid-course which requires mediation on behalf of the instructor. The presentation will feature the following information: review of the unit of study objectives, the target audience, the scenario, and the analysis of the scenario, followed by a conclusion. To begin, we will start with a review of the unit of study. The learning theory chosen for this unit of study was constructivism. Constructivism relies upon the student creating the learning goals and targets with the teacher. Constructivism is conducted in two phases: exploration and reflection. During exploration, the students interact with material on a personal level and acquire their own experiences. Following exploration, the learner engages in reflection to construct their own meaning of the material. This practice allows the learner to claim ownership over their learning. The instructional design method chosen for the unit of study is backwards design. The backwards design method has three phases: learning outcomes, creation of learning objectives, and the actual content taught. The purpose is to design a unit of study starting with the learning outcomes and designing the lesson backwards from there. The target audience for this unit of study will be high school juniors and seniors. The students will learn the following topics during the unit of study: social institutions of marriage/family, education, and religion. The topics of social institutions and their effects on self/group development are important to study in the discipline of sociology because those institutions have played an important role in the socialization process for individuals/groups. The three social institutions are agents of socialization that greatly impact the development of individuals in the United States. Next, we will move on to a review of the unit of study objectives. At the conclusion of the unit, students will be able to: number one, analyze the impact of the marriage and family social institution in the United States on self and group development. Number two, analyze the impact of the education social institution in the United States on self and group development. Number three, analyze the impact of the religion social institution in the United States on self and group development. And number four, compare and contrast how the social institutions of marriage, family, education, and religion impact self/group development. The target audience for this presentation are pre-service educators who are enrolled in an educational technology course. This presentation serves to benefit pre-service educators because they do not have the classroom experience of planning and implementing interventions to assist struggling students. Here is the scenario we will attempt to mediate through this presentation. You review participation in grading analytics at the halfway point of a course you designed and are now teaching. You notice two students rarely participate in the course activities. When they do participate, most of the results are below average. Based on the scenario provided, there are several steps I would conduct in order to mend the situation for the students. First, I would evaluate the data. I would determine what issues exist in terms of knowledge acquisition. The second thing I would do would involve developing a hypothesis as to why the student or students rarely participate and perform poorly on assessments. After I hypothesis has been determined, then the instructional designer can develop possible solutions to be proactive. This proactivity allows the designer to prescribe some remedies. One thought the learner rarely participates is due to a lack of intellectual stimulation or lack of choice. Another thought for low participation could be due to the learner's lacking confidence with the online materials. If the students do not feel confident navigating the content, nor possess an idea on how to use the technology, the students may lose interest in completing coursework. Furthermore, students who feel satisfied with their course and find relevance within their lives are less likely to drop out of an online course. The third step would be to reach out to the learner to determine exactly what they have difficulty participating and completing assignments successfully. The fourth step involves inquiring how the learner learns best. This step involves the instructional designer pushing the learner to divulge their own metacognition about the assignments. Metacognition simply means thinking about your thinking or thought processes. Metacognition provides the instructional designer the opportunity to peek inside the mind of the learner to correct any misunderstandings about material. Metacognition plays an important role in constructivist learning because this allows the learner to take ownership of the material. The fifth step involves the instructional designer asking the learner the best way they learn. The way the course could be set up may not be advantageous to the learning of that particular student. Gaining an understanding of how the student learns allows the instructional designer to design the course in a way which improves learning outcomes for all students. The sixth step involves the creation of a remediation plan for the two students. The plan begins with the teacher having the students make corrections to their previous assignments. Through the revision process, students must journal their thought process regarding two periods of time. The first period of time involves the student reflecting on their learning decisions from their first draft and explaining their thought process. The second period of time involves the explaining why the revisions are necessary and correct. This explanation of mental correction places metacognition at the forefront of enhancing the learning process. Additionally, instructional designers must provide choice in this remediation plan. According to Barrage, Penny, and Wells, allowing learners to choose learning strategies and methods brings satisfaction and relevance to online learning. Learners will quickly lose interest if the activities do not stimulate their participation. The seventh and final step involves just monitoring progress moving forward. The instructional designer needs to be aware of circumstances affecting the learner and learning outcomes. Monitoring the students more closely allows for earlier interventions to be implemented sooner. Additionally, the integration of more targeted formative assessments will aid in assisting learners. In conclusion, making the appropriate in-course corrections can lead to improved learning outcomes for students. In the scenario presented, the students had little participation in the course. As a result, learning outcomes were poor for the students. More than likely, the students either found no relevance to the course, could not use the technology, or did not feel stimulated from the material. With the proper interventions, learning outcomes could be improved moving forward. By reviewing data, contacting the students, and then learning about the students and their needs, instructional designers can ensure they provide the best opportunity for students to learn. Thank you.